The day my own father looked me in the eyes and called me a traitor is a day I will never forget. I was standing in our family living room, still in my Navy uniform, when he said the words that shattered my heart. "You're a traitor to this family, Sophia." Those words broke something deep inside me. The man who was supposed to love and protect me had just branded me a traitor. My name is Lieutenant Commander Sophia Kane. I'm 32 years old and have served in the United States Navy for over 10 years. My father, a proud former Marine, had always pushed me toward service, until the day my path no longer matched his vision. That evening, I had come home to share exciting news about a special assignment I had been selected for. Instead, I walked into a storm of anger and disappointment. My father believed I had chosen the wrong branch and the wrong mission, one that went against the values he held dear. He called me disloyal, he called me ungrateful, and worst of all, he called me a traitor. I stood there in silence, fighting back tears, as the man I had looked up to my entire life destroyed the bond we once shared. But what I didn't know that painful evening was that months later, an admiral would say 3 simple words that would change everything, and force my father to confront the truth he had refused to see. The betrayal didn't happen overnight. It had been building for years. From the moment I joined the Navy, my father had strong opinions about my career. He wanted me to follow in his footsteps as a Marine. When I chose the Navy and later specialized in intelligence and strategic operations, he saw it as a personal rejection. After that painful evening, our relationship fractured completely. Family dinners became tense. Phone calls grew shorter. He stopped asking about my work and started making subtle comments about loyalty and real service. The emotional struggle was overwhelming. I felt broken and abandoned by the one person whose approval I had always sought. Nights were the hardest. I would replay his words in my head and wonder if I really was a disappointment. Despite the pain, I threw myself deeper into my duties. I excelled in my role, earned promotions, and contributed to missions that protected our nation. I found strength in my fellow sailors and in the quiet pride I carried in my uniform. But the family wound remained open. My mother tried to mediate, but my father remained distant and cold. He even skipped my promotion ceremony, calling it not important enough. I began to rebuild my life on my own terms. I focused on my growth, my team, and the impact I was making. Slowly, the pain turned into quiet determination. I stopped chasing his validation and started honoring my own path. Then came the day that would test everything. My unit was involved in a high-profile joint operation. An admiral who had overseen the mission requested my presence at a formal recognition event. I was nervous but proud. What I didn't expect was that my father would also be invited as a guest of honor, due to his past service connections. That evening became the moment when everything changed. The recognition ceremony was formal and dignified. I stood in my dress uniform, heart steady, as the Admiral approached the podium. He spoke about the success of the operation and the critical role certain officers had played. Then he looked directly at me and said 3 simple words that echoed through the hall. "Outstanding job, Commander." Those 3 words carried the weight of official recognition, respect, and validation from one of the highest-ranking officers in the Navy. My father sat in the audience, completely frozen. His face went pale as the Admiral continued praising the work I had done, work that had directly supported national security and saved lives. In that moment, the truth was undeniable. The daughter he had called a traitor was being publicly honored for her excellence and loyalty. After the ceremony, my father approached me slowly. His usual confidence was gone. His voice trembled as he spoke. "Sophia, I was wrong. I let my pride blind me. You're not a traitor. You're everything I should have been proud of." Tears filled my eyes, but I stood tall. I told him that his words had hurt me deeply, but I had never stopped loving him or respecting the values he taught me. I had simply chosen my own way to serve. That night marked the beginning of healing. My father began attending events with me. He asked questions about my work. He even apologized publicly to close family members for how he had treated me. The quiet justice wasn't loud or vengeful. It was the simple, powerful recognition of my worth by someone whose opinion mattered far beyond my father's judgment. Today, our relationship is slowly mending. My father now introduces me with pride as his daughter, the naval officer. The label of traitor has been replaced with respect. To anyone watching who has ever been called disloyal, unworthy, or a disappointment by someone you love, your value is not defined by their limited view. Sometimes the greatest revenge is continuing to serve your purpose with integrity until the truth reveals itself in its own time. My father called me a traitor. But when an admiral said 3 simple words, "Outstanding job, Commander," everything changed. I no longer carry the weight of his judgment. I carry the pride of my service and the peace of knowing I stayed true to myself. Thank you for listening to my story. If you have ever been misunderstood or labeled by those closest to you, remember that your worth shines brightest when you refuse to dim your light. Keep serving your calling. The right voices will always speak up. Until next time, stand tall in your truth. Your story is powerful and it matters.